We are.
All right. Hello guys. Thank you for watching Unidentified Podcast. Today we're gonna be introducing a new subject. It's gonna be about like food and food industry and how we as consumers view food in general. Okay. Um. So before we even get started, I just would like to put out there that in my opinion, we are making a great mistake at as in how we consume things. And Nagayan will be explaining to us a little bit, and then we'll go back and forth with this. But in my experience, I have seen like how people are worried about like calories in their food and how much fat is in there. And I get why, and I get um, how that comes into like some of your concerns, but how much attention are we paying to where the food comes from, how it's prepared, how is it preserved, how what like goes into like harvesting like let's say vegetables, or what kind of chemicals go into uh, making things grow faster. Also, like the is the antibiotics we use for our livestock, safe for humans. And there's something I want to bring up later on, and it's some research I did on things that as USDA actually like approves, and the rules and regulations and how they go around uh certain things that in my opinion are not ethical. But before we get that far and that into the subject, Nagayan, can you let us know what your angle is on this?
Yeah, sure. Thank you for introducing it, Lito. Yeah, basically, food is already something quite essential for us as people, as humans, to survive, as animals as well.
Mm-hmm.
And throughout the years, it has been evolving to a certain state that first, when we were like living in the Stone Ages, we were scavenging for meat and stuff that we could eat, berries and stuff like that. And along the way, we became a little bit more conscious of we were able to manipulate the animals, and then we were started farming as well. So that also changed the patterns and the habits that we have adopted nowadays, and they still have a big hold on us as we as consumers, and as being part of this system that consumes food. And what I figured out for myself, because that's where I really started this journey with, is what's actually a healthy diet for one to consume. If, yeah, if one were to diet, or not per se to diet, but just to eat healthy. Of course, we have fruits, we have nuts, we have fish, we have meat, we have vegetables, but there's a whole lot of movement pulling and pushing each other, like eat less meat, or become vegetarian because you don't need meat to eat to survive, to thrive. And there's another now coming into light is another diet that's called the Lion Diet. It's a challenge based basically on TikTok. But in the Lion Diet, you only eat meat and eggs, and it's rich in proteins, and it's supposed to be healthy for you. And along that way, you can already see that there's a lot of perspectives that can be put on the emphasis on food and what actually is healthy food for one. And that's why I wanted to introduce this also to this podcast, from like each of us, our perspectives on what is healthy food. For me, it is, yeah, I don't eat much, but I know I eat a lot of sugars and salts, because right now I'm eating popcorn, sugar coated with caramel. I like to eat my cakes, but yeah, I also like wholesome food like rice and some meat with it, some vegetables, you call it, and it ranges from potatoes, mashed potatoes, to beans and rice.
Yeah. I feel
And
like out of all of us, Ed is the one that eats the best. I think, like, has the most discipline and when it comes to eating, man.
No, I
Um,
like cookies and sugary stuff too.
I seen you eat sugary. I mean, of course, we are not together all the time, right? But I see you a lot, and I see how you eat. You are very consistent on how you eat, and you seem to be able to stop yourself from eating too many sweets and too much garbage. For what I see, at least, I
Well,
have a tough time.
that's because
Yeah.
like back in the day, like this was like maybe 10 years ago, the Hodge twins. I know you guys, you're familiar with them. Everybody knows them. Before they got into politics, they were all into fitness and working out, and they started fasting, like the intermittent fasting. And so I started doing that, and I got really into it. And like so, like even now, I still fast. Like I don't eat. So I work in the morning, so I don't eat at work. I just drink coffee, water, and then I don't eat until I get home, like around 4 or 5 o'clock.
Okay.
cool.
And Nagayan, real quick, like when we talk about like this food thing, right? What are we looking for? Like, are you concerned about like the calories, being overweight, diabetes, or are you like, does it go farther than that? Because like one of my concerns is like what goes into the food, what kind of chemicals are used to actually harvest, uh, you know, preservation methods and all these things. Actually, I got a lot of notes on these things, and depending on where you want to go with the subject, I'll pick from my notes because this
Nice,
is a
nice.
very big one.
Yeah, this indeed is a very big one, and that's why this, I think, is a start for many or more to come on food.
Yeah.
For now, I wanted to a little bit focus on what the current standard is and what we are currently doing. And
But standards as in what? You're still not clear, like as in calories or standards for like food safety?
the standards, as in for what we find like normal food, what do we find in the grocery store, what do we find in the food that we eat, and that we think is normal food or healthy for us.
Okay.
So yeah, you have a point with doing the research on the FDA approved stuff, because for here in the Netherlands it's a little bit different. They use different probably preservation methods, or not preservation methods, but preservation numbers, as to put it, because they I think the E numbers, I don't know how you call it over there, but here it's a lot about the E numbers. If you have E numbers in your food, and that's E305 or 314, those numbers means that there are chemicals put in there, or not chemicals, but artificial stuff to make the food last longer,
Yeah.
or to keep them as fresh as possible, or to and those things they add, but I don't know the studies behind it, but they have been proven that they're not very healthy, for one, and for second, they can even cause certain stuff to clog, to mutate in your cells, so produce cancer as well. And all these things, while we're still eating them, like we're still able to buy them off the shelf, without them being labeled as warning, because this might cause stuff. And yeah, that's the food that people be consuming over here, and as well, I think in the United States, everywhere we go.
Well,
It's basically the standards that we live by right now.
yeah. So I have a list, and I don't want to go into that yet because of me still not understanding exactly where you at with this. But I have a list of like foods that are U.S. like standard foods, like things we eat all day, every day, that are banned in like over 20 countries throughout the world. Okay, and that is because of chemicals, because of ingredients, because of things we call fillers or anything like that, and things that shouldn't be there. But the way we get away with putting these things in the food is by giving you portions, okay? Suggesting portions. And one of the things I wanted to bring up, as of right now, is that, just think about it for a second, okay? At least here in the US. Ed, you live here in the US, right?
Yeah, I live here.
Negayan actually came and visited, okay? So we went around, we saw a lot of things, okay? So the way they get away with putting certain things in your food and your daily food, meaning like cereal or anything like that, is by recommending these portions. But let's say when it comes to Fruit Loops, or should we not say names? But when it comes to certain cereals, sweet cereals, when was the last time you seen an American, like your average American, like following these portions?
No one does.
No one does. Like I'm just talking about like America. I've never been in Europe. I know in Dominican Republic we don't follow no portions. You eat the amount you want to eat, and that's when things get dangerous. Okay, so I know there's should I say names or not? Like,
No, it don't matter.
okay, so let's say for example Fruit Loops. There's some ingredients that are actually poisoning to your body, to your liver, to your body in general. Okay. And yeah, and when we consume in the quantities that we know we consume it, they do produce like cancer, blood clots, all these things that you wouldn't believe, right? But the way they get around it is because they say, hey, we told you how much to eat of this, okay? And we didn't tell you to eat this much, or we didn't tell you to eat it every day either. But they know what's going on. They're not stupid, right?
Yeah, on that same note, I think they even put stuff in the food that makes it taste better and that you want to consume more, but it doesn't fill your stomach.
Yeah.
And that's, yeah.
So one of the things, okay, so I have this short story real quick. Let's say Fruit Loops. I love talking about Fruit Loops because it has so many ingredients that shouldn't be there. And I have a story on it, so kind of sticking to it, right? But Fruit Loops, I can't remember how many years ago, but Fruit Loops actually had a recall, okay? And they ended up, they started a new formula in Fruit Loops, which is a formula that's been being used for years in Europe, okay? Which is, let's say for the red color, instead of using that red dye that actually has been confirmed to be very harmful for kids, they actually get the red color from beets. I don't know if you know that. And from fruits, they get like all these fruits that have these intense color. They were using fruits to actually put the color in, but it does affect the flavor a little bit, I guess. That was a concern. But here in America, there was a lot of people outraged, like going out there and like complaining and calling and emailing the company saying that they never buy in Fruit Loops again, and that their kids were sad that the colors weren't bright, and instead of being bright they were opaco in Spanish. Ed, help me out, man.
Opaque is the word.
Okay, it is. Okay, so, and yeah, that their kids were sad because the colors weren't bright enough. It's not the same for them, and they were having like a breakdown, which is unbelievable. I don't doubt. I mean that.
Bro,
that
I'm gonna
happen.
be real. This is just stupid people. Like I just like who's doing this?
But if you try to change something for the better and your numbers are going down, what do?
Dude, common sense, you shouldn't even be eating this stuff. Like, I don't look at a box of Twinkies and just be like, wait, is that something we can eat? Like, I just...
Twinkies? That's my...
like, and even pastries, it's like, if I'm going to eat pastries, I'm going to go to a bakery and get something that was made by hand, something that's decent, high quality. I'm not going to get these Twinkies with all these chemicals in it. This is common sense.
Yeah. I agree with you, Ed. And another thing I would like to point out, you're right about that, but we also got to look at that, because the problem is that when cheap materials go into what we are eating, it's not just a problem with the let's say the flour. The problem is you're using cheap flour, cheap sugar, cheap berries, let's say, for example.
No, it's not that
And
it's
all
cheap
of-
flour, sugar, or berry. It's that they're actually making chemicals that are. It's not sugar. It's something else that entirely is not
Yes.
berries. It's
They
like
make
some
it in the
chemical.
Well,
laboratory.
wait. Okay, so it is sugar. The problem is that for
No,
them
the
to
stuff they're using is not even sugar. High fructose corn syrup is not sugar.
No, that's where I'm going. Wait, hold up. So they use, let's say we use white sugar. It's so much to this. Okay, so white sugar is sugar cane bleached and goes through a process, and it's just like finer and easier to handle. It doesn't get sticky like that or anything like that. But it is already processed sugar, so that's your first ingredient. And what they do is to say, oh, there's only 10 grams of sugar per this amount.
Proportion.
They start adding sweeteners. They start doing corn syrup. They start doing high glucose. Like I don't know the exact name, but they start using all these things that are very bad for you. Like these ingredients should be waste, but because they use them in these small quantities, once again, they get away with saying, "Oh, it's only 10 grams of sugar." But if you taste it, you know that's not 10 grams of sugar. The problem is they are using these ingredients that we actually don't bother to look into, to add the sweetness to what we are eating. Now, the other thing is also, like I was saying, all these low quality ingredients all around. Okay, we just look at it like, let's say, I don't want to name stuff, okay, but anything, we should be checking into the source of these ingredients separately, okay. It's a good idea to start learning today about these things. I started learning quite some time ago, and I love the subject itself, but it's just such a big thing.
Angel, you talk a good game, but you don't do that. You don't do that.
I actually do. I can show you my cupboards. When I go to work, I eat whatever's available over there. I don't care.
I be seeing you eating that fried food. You don't know what they fried it in. What do they use? They use canola oil. That's industrial. That's industrial waste.
Yeah.
It is canola oil, or is canola oil, rapeseed oil? Some like this stuff is poisonous. And you eat the fried food there. I'm like, I'm not eating this. I mean, what are they even frying this? You drink that those soft drinks out of that those plastic sacks. You drink that stuff. I'm like, yo, I remember one day I walked up to you, I said, yo, dude, why are you drinking that? You remember? I said, why are you drinking that stuff, man?
Yeah, you did a few years ago. But no, I actually don't drink soda like that. Just so you know, I do drink soda, but just not like that.
Dude, straight
and
up
also,
water and coffee, straight up.
Yeah, but what's coffee then?
Coffee's just coffee, man.
Coffee is coffee.
So did you know? This is another thing about this. There's per 8 grams, there's like about 10 mouse droppings in your coffee grains. There's insect legs. There's mouse hairs and stuff like that in your coffee.
You're about to destroy coffee.
You can say that, but I'm looking at the beans. I just bought some coffee. The beans, I'm looking at the beans. You're gonna tell me these beans have all this in it? I don't.
They get even when you buy the beans, they get roasted.
Yeah.
Okay, and well, they roasted it mixed in with maggots. No, I'm sorry. Should I go that way or not? Should
You don't actually know that. I'm pretty sure some coffee is like that. I mean, but how can you say that about
No.
coffee from?
Okay, so anything. Your broccoli has this particular worm, this little green larva that goes into the broccoli, makes a hole in the broccoli and actually like buries himself in it. It's not harmful for people, okay? But there's no way around it. It's called food contaminants, okay? And they call it this because you don't want to say mouse hairs, cockroach legs or wings or anything like that. Let's say, for example, your chocolate. You like dark chocolate, Ed?
Yeah.
There's a lot of 222 per bar. Let's say a Hershey bar, 222 or 25 particles of cockroaches
You
are
don't
safe
know
to
that.
eat.
You don't know that.
Where did you
These are
find
the
this?
standards.
There's
These are-
chocolate that's made. You got chocolate that's made in Switzerland. You got chocolate that's made like all over the place. You can't say every chocolate maker does.
No, I'm not saying all the chocolate. I say your Hershey bar. Where is Hershey made?
That's assuming that I eat Hershey, but okay.
No. I know, but you want me to
Yes,
be
there's
like,
low quality. There's low quality chocolates and foods. I got you.
And for the next discussion about this, I'm gonna take some samples of your blood to see what you've been eating, so I can get back to you on that.
Yeah.
Like I gotta be that freaking specific, man. I'm just saying, we all.
Yes, in general, yes.
Yeah.
It's something.
I know something that enhances the food or the taste of the food. That's Chinese
MSG?
restaurants use that a lot. Ajinomoto, I think it's called. I don't know. What it's called.
GMO. Is that what you're talking about?
No, it's GMO's genetically modified. But
Are you
Ajinomoto's
talking
actually
about the what is that? What is that? I can't.
the white grainy salt kind
know
of,
it.
but it's
I know
yeah,
what you're.
the
I know
Chinese
what you're
use it a
saying.
lot.
Not MSG.
Yeah, that's what you're talking about. Yeah,
yeah,
MSG.
I don't know. Probably that's it. But that's been banned over here in the Netherlands. They still use it though because
Yes.
it makes the food taste like awesome.
Makes you feel full as well, right?
What?
Makes you feel full. It makes you drink water. Yeah.
To me, the whole food thing has been solved. You know what I mean? I used to be sick all the time, didn't learn how to eat, work out, boom, that's it. You know what I'm saying? It's just
This is for those who
here's the
don't
thing.
know.
You shouldn't be eating out all the time. You should learn how to cook. Like, and that's gonna alleviate most of that right there.
Yeah. Agreed. Buy high quality ingredients for what you're making. Not possible for everybody, right? But if you don't have money like that, because it does get expensive. If you don't have money like that, do some research on your everyday products and replace small things like salt that make a big difference. The sugar you consume, buy brown sugar, buy Himalayan salt, buy let's say what else? Okay, so let's say for your fruit, you buy everyday fruit, fruit every day. The fruit that you should be looking for is fruit that's being produced in the U.S. and fruit that have thin skin. Okay, those are the ones you want to buy organic. Reason for that is that they actually soak in a lot of those chemicals, like apples and stuff like that. A lot of the chemicals that go into growing the apples faster and then to killing all these rodents and all the things that might ruin your harvest. Fruit with thin skin soak all that in, okay? But things like bananas are produced in different countries and they don't use, like, usually bananas just grow naturally, okay? You harvest the banana, cut the tree off, and you gotta wait until the tree, you know, it's pretty fast grown, the bananas are. Let's say
What I also heard is that they color with a chemical the oranges. The color orange
Yes.
shouldn't be that orange because
So yeah, that is true. And even in your orange juice, your everyday, like people here in America drink orange juice every day. Am I going too far with this, or you want me to?
that's good.
Okay, so people every day like make orange juice part of their breakfast. The truth is that actual orange juice is pretty much clear. There's a hint of color in there, but it's for the most part it's pretty much clear. All all those orange juices that you think like look better because they actually have like that intense color, all of those are fillers and additives like that are actually bad for you. It's trash what you put in your body basically.
Yeah.
Anything from concentrate is very bad as well. It's mostly chemicals. It's mostly they believe that the less amount of actual organic, and when I say organic, I'm not talking about the process, but the actual fruits and stuff like that is in there, is easier for it to perish. So that's why things like ketchup and orange juice and stuff like that have a very minimum amount of actual fruit or the veggies in it because they want it to last longer.
Depends on what you.
But those are some good points. What?
No, I was gonna say it depends on what you're buying. You know.
Absolutely. But that's what I'm saying. You should look around your kitchen and like wonder, like I said, just look and replace the things that are the most harmful first and start there.
Yeah, that's a good point. Those are good points. And I think that's the route that we should be taking, in the sense that we don't know all of the answers, and there's a lot that most people don't know. And we just want to create awareness to what's going on in our system? What are we doing that's actually harming ourselves? And what can we do about it? So, yeah, that's why I wanted to introduce this topic. I think you too as well, Lito.
Yeah.
And explain our personal journey with food as well, because I'm not a saint with food. I know I have my flaws, and of course it's allowed, but everything in too much is harmful. So
it's harmful. But the other thing, talking about too much, man, I know I'm fat. Like, I'm overweight. I'm not like super fat or whatever, but I know, I'm aware I'm overweight. Thank you for pointing that out, Ed. But I eat very bad and stuff. But at home, just because I have kids around and stuff like that, I make sure my kids are not eating garbage. My kids, I'm cooking good for them. Yeah, we eat out every now and then, but we cook in my house. I cook. If I don't cook, their mom cooks. My mom is living with me right now. She cooks. And we try to watch out for those things. Do the same for your kids. If you love your kids, you should be very careful with what you are feeding them, okay? Even if they make them sad, if they get sad because the orange juice is not bright orange and this is not glow in the dark, like I'm being sarcastic.
They should be drinking water.
Yes, let's give them water, man. Listen, no. I'm telling you, my kids, even like when you let them, but again, like I raised them, to drink mostly water. But even nigga, and you were here, like my 6-year-old son, if he eats out today, he won't eat out tomorrow. He'll be like, I want a salad, I want this, or I want that. I can't drink a lot of juice. He'll drink like a juice today. Like, let's say he drinks 2 times juice today, and tomorrow he's like, no more juice. Like, I can't have this juice. It's not good for me. He like actually watches. So your kids can do the same, and just remember, it's for the best. I mean, by giving them everything they want. I seen people who I went out with, and all their kid drinks is juice and soda and all these things. You know what soda does to your insides?
that's not. That's a lot. That's a whole other topic.
Yeah. So
I mean, the amount of sugar that's in it, and the
Nah, listen, grab dark soda. I don't want to keep giving names out there. Grab dark soda and a penny, like a rusty penny, and leave it in there and see what happens. Imagine what it's doing to your insides. I'm way too excited for this subject.
I don't think anything is wrong with it as long as you treat soda like it's a treat. You know what I mean? Like, I can have me a small cup of soda, but I think the issue is people drink it when they're thirsty.
Absolutely, yes.
Soda should
There's
be
somebody
like ice
you
cream,
work with
like
that doesn't drink water.
Dude, most people don't drink water. What are you talking?
No. This dude, you know who he is. He's a supervisor in your department, and I asked him why he drinks so much soda, and he told me he doesn't like the taste of water.
Dude, most people drink. They don't drink water.
I have a hard time drinking water.
You do? Nigga? What?
I do drink water, but I drink too little.
There's nothing like drinking, bro. Listen, at least when I'm home, I make it a point to drink all the water. Like, I'm surprised I haven't drowned myself, man. Because water, like,
talking about drowning yourself.
Angel, I don't believe you, man. I don't believe you, man. I'm sorry.
Every day, every time we make a video, I drink at least 3 of these.
Every time I see you got some cranberry juice or something. Like, dude, what are you doing, man?
You never seen me drinking no cranberry.
Okay. Yeah, I think we have exhausted this topic. If I can
Okay. Yeah.
use your words, Ed. But yeah, more of this will come, and we will we'll keep it light. We will keep it just to educate ourselves, share our perspective, and let you.
You know what? Since this subject like actually like is so important to me, that's what I'm gonna post in our Instagram tonight. Some food
Nice.
facts. Okay. Um. Yeah, and that's it. And also, I know you eat a lot of fish. That's not good for you either. Is your salmon wild caught?
Dude, I don't even eat a lot of fish. I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know. I
Yeah,
see.
I have a blood sample, but because this is not gonna work.
He don't eat anything. Like this guy is incredible. He eats less than Gandhi. Not Gandhi. What's his name?
It was done.
It was Gandhi. Oh yeah, he eats less than Gandhi, man.
No, I'm about to have me a steak.
Steak.
New York
What kind of
strip.
steak?
New York strip.
Going on the lion diet, Ed?
No, I just I
Do you
mean, no,
think it's
I like.
necessary?
I gotta have my muffin, English muffin with it, some rice, salad. I can't do just.
I don't believe in no lion diet. I don't believe in being vegan. I don't believe in none of these things. I believe in balance. Okay, not too much of anything. Okay, and yeah, because your body actually. Oh, and for those who are vegan, no, is not an attack to you. But if you are vegan because you don't want to kill animals, well, just know that actually vegan products are based on killing animals, and I'll tell you why. Well, in order for a company that's all vegan, right, to be successful, they have to harvest a lot. You know what they do to animals that cross their line of defense? What we call the line, I would call it the line of defense. They kill anything that crosses their path. Snakes, beaver, not beaver, moles,
Yeah.
mice, all these things that are in out in the wild. I mean, in their own territory. If you worry that much about these about killing animals, just know and understand. Do some research on that. Okay, the avocados that we produce, okay, they protect their trees with their life. Even though avocados like come in freaking tons at a time, but all of these products, there's nothing 100% like cruelty proof. I mean, if it's not happening here, it's happening there. Yeah, yeah. Be mindful. But I think the resolve, and I keep pushing this. Somebody actually tagged me in something yesterday, because I keep telling people that I come across. The best way to do things is stop buying certain things in the supermarket, man. We are capable of raising chickens. I know it's kind of cruel, but if you want eggs, you can have the eggs from your chickens. 6 chickens, 8 chickens will make enough eggs for your family.
Are you
I
gonna keep
promise.
them?
In your backyard. If you have space, of course, for those who it's possible to do so. And they are very easy to keep alive. I done it before. And if you want to eat, I know it's kind of, but your chicken is not necessarily your pet. Okay, so you want cruelty free.
You
The
can also
native,
grow some vegetables. I've started last year with some
Yeah.
paprika, and it worked out very well. Instead of buying paprika in the store, I would just pick it from my tree, and
yeah, and the other thing is too, like, what the heck? I just lost. I started doing the same thing in my backyard, and I want to buy land eventually and just like raise my animals. Native, we live in like pretty much native land here in Niagara Falls, Canada, if you may. And native people base their beliefs, okay, and not taking more than you need. And consumption is one of our biggest problems today. Okay, so every time you buy chicken wings, let's say you eat 10 chicken wings, guess what? How many chickens had to die for those chicken wings? And not always all the parts get sold or consumed. So there's way around.
it's good to know. And it's a broad topic. We can go a lot of ways, and we will go a lot of directions with this. So yeah, I think we're about to cut this off. So thank you for watching Unidentified Podcast. More to follow.